truth, logic, common sense, that gut feeling, and yes, even a little psychoanalysis. As we are once again together, you and I. We are once again together, you and I, to discuss the Donna Adelson case, y'all. Folks, we started out this week, and a little bit of last week, I guess, with these emails from hell. We've read 3 of them. And, folks, there's this whole thing about this case that I kind of want to get clear with y'all. I don't feel like it's flowing properly. It's just not flowing the way that OKJ feels like it should flow. I'm sitting here talking to y'all about things that Donna Adelson in her wigged out mind is trying to get Wendy to do. These emails are very disgusting and awful, and I've been trying to emphasize the date of Dan Markel's murder and then give the dates of, these emails, and it just doesn't seem to be very cohesive for me. Maybe it's okay for you. Maybe you're hanging out at the house folding laundry or doing dishes or just doing whatever you do, or maybe you're at work or, you got your buds in. But folks, OKJ just has got to figure out a way to get this to run a little bit more seamless. And the one thing that has always been important when it comes to justice through understanding is the timeline of events. How are you supposed to sum up every damn date of everything that's very crucial and important in a murder case? I failed to do that. I guess I half-assed it, y'all. I'm looking at you right now. I half-assed it. I thought that once it started coming out and flowing, that it would get better for me. But obviously, I think I need to go back to basics. People in the crime genre community, they all bring their content however they're going to bring it. I'm bringing it to you from this just old country girl, KJ, here from Tennessee. That's just seeing what I'm seeing and talking about it. It doesn't mean that I'm 100% right or anything like that. I just give it to you the way I see it. And there's many times I've been right, and there's been many times I've been wrong. But one thing is for sure, if you're going to get justice through understanding, you've got to have the context. And the context includes the timeline of events. Now, the last case that we covered, which was the King and Queen's murder trial there in Idaho, KJ didn't quite do it like this, but I'm going to do it like this today, and I hope you'll listen up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get us caught up very quickly. What you would call a crime genre timeline catch-up. How about that? This will help me too. Sometimes it's just better for old KJ to just say it out loud instead of just looking back at dates to kind of get that context of where, like the context of where was Donna and Wendy at in relation to what was going on around them with Dan Markel or Charlie Adelson or Harvey or anything like that. I mean, I know I can't figure it all out, but I can at least go down a timeline of events. And anytime I get to where I'm tugged at something and I want to cover it, I really do have to look at that. And while not share it, right? So even though I'm just going to be spouting these timeline dates off and explaining here and there, I hope that you will catch some of it or go back if you've got a question in your own mind about where things stood. So this case is very complex. They've already had 4 convicted people in this case thus far. This has been going on for 10 years. And I guess that's another reason why I'm kind of out of pocket on it. There are some people that's come on this channel that know a hell of a lot more about the Adelsons than OKJ. And I appreciate all the people that have been putting in the comments information that you've learned. It means a lot to me to get that feedback. So anyway, I'm going to read this off and get it in the record. It's a timeline of events, and we'll just go from there, okay? And just for the most part, for me, and I don't know about you, I'm looking at the year. But then again, as the date moves closer to the actual murder, the month and day matter as well. So let's get into it, because this is a very complex case. And so I'm just going to put it in here and see what y'all think. Now, September the 10th of 2012, Dan Markel's then wife, Wendy Adelson, files for divorce. Markel finds divorce papers, learns that Wendy and the children have moved out upon his return from a business trip. And this is according to the court records. I might skip over that according to, because I'm telling y'all, this stuff is in cement. It's got good sourcing. So that was September 10th of 2012. You got June the 20th of 2013, so it skips a whole year. The judge denies Wendy's motion for relocation with children to South Florida to be with, the domestic coordinating mama, Donna, and Harvey, and old Charlie boy. So in that whole year, the divorce has already been filed and all this and that. The judge denies relocation in June of 2013. And then by the next month, July 31st of 2013, court documents show that the divorce was resolved and granted. And you would think, okay, there you go. The judge has already ruled on relocation. The kids are supposed to stay in Tallahassee. Everything's been ironed out. Everything's fine. Well, that was July. In May of 15th of 2014, that's a whole year later, there's a hearing scheduled for a motion to prohibit Wendy's mother, Donna, from seeing the grandchildren unsupervised, because Dan Markel's kids came home and said, Grandma says she hates you and that you're stupid. So he files this motion. Then you've got, by May 15th of 2014, that's been filed, and you know and I know that just from the emails we've read, Donna's been abreast of all this. Wendy's been sharing the court documents with Donna all this time of anything that's went on. She knows specificity about different things that Dan Markel has alleged emotions and all this and that. So you know and I know that Donna has gotten this motion from Wendy showing that Dan Markel does not want Donna to be alone with those grandchildren, and you know it must have burned her biscuits. You know it had to piss her off to no end. She was already pissed off that her daughter wasn't getting her way, i.e. Donna getting her way. It was really about Donna getting her way, right? So that happened where there was a hearing scheduled in May of 2014, and June, July of 2015, guess what happens? A Prius is tied to a crime scene rented in North Miami, according to the Tallahassee Police Department. So here you have it. They're laying it out now. The police are saying, and this is after the fact, they're saying, May of 2014, Dan Markel is going after Donna. And by July, these hitmen have already rented a vehicle to prepare themselves to go kill Dan Markel. So you think about that, how much time right there. That's only 2 months of Donna simmering in her own wicked juices about this whole issue. Whether Charlie wanted to be the problem solver and he brought the idea to Donna and then Donna acted on it, or Donna was getting Charlie to check things out. Either way it goes, makes no difference whose idea it was. Ultimately, I believe Charlie brought the idea to Donna, but he already knew Donna was searching for a result, something, a win, a victory, to get rid of Dan Markel however they could. So July 16th, the day after a Prius was rented by these hitmen, police say suspects Sofredo Garcia and Luis Rivera traveled to Tallahassee from North Miami based on cell phone records, surveillance footage, and car rental information. So here you have it, y'all. Again, I'm just trying to put this in context and perspective. the middle of May of 2014, Donna's finding out that Dan Markel is trying to get supervised visitation for her where she can't even be alone with her own grandchildren in less than 2 months. Here you have it. A Prius is being rented. You think these guys can afford it? You think these guys are just out of willy-nilly just going to do this? No, they're being financed. A day after that, after Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera travel to Tallahassee. Police say suspects arrive in Tallahassee just after midnight. According to cell phone records, they indicate that the phones are in the vicinity of Markel's home, according to Tallahassee Police Department. Unknown witnesses says he rents motel room to Garcia and Rivera on North Monroe Street. So a day after that, we know what this day is. July 18th, Dan Markel is shot in the head in the garage of his Benton Hills home around 11 a.m. and he's pronounced dead at a hospital in the area later that day. Now, one of you, and please forgive me, you know who you are. You put it on the last video. You specified things that OKJ was very thankful that you did. In other words, he was shot. He went to the hospital. He was still alive. And he died overnight, which once he's dead, that's murder, okay? Before he's dead, it's attempted murder, but when he dies, it's murder. So when I say July 19th of 2014, really he was shot the 18th, but he died overnight in the 19th of July there. So from there, Tallahassee Police Department creates a tip line dedicated to the investigation of Dan Markel's murder on July the 21st. That's 3 days after his death. They set up this tip line. Now, 2 days after that, on July 23rd, an image of a green Prius is seen in the area around the time that the crime occurred. Tallahassee Police Department says they've received over 50 tips through the tip line and asked local residents and businesses with video surveillance to contact them, right? Then about a week after that, July the 31st of 2014, the police department releases a recording of a 911 call to Consolidated Dispatch Agency. It's determined that human error led to the delay in getting help for Dan Markel. So from there, that's July 31st of 2014. You got June, July, August. Nothing is said in August in the timeline. September the 16th, a memorial service was held at FSU for Dan Markel following the start of the school year. So after that, it skips into the next year of February 27th of 2015. A grand jury reviews a 911 call, blasts the handling of the Markel dispatch call, says 19-minute delay is getting paramedics to the scene is unacceptable. And in the middle of this, the Markel family is livid. They file a lawsuit, actually. Then in July 17th of 2015, the Tallahassee Police Department released new details in Dan Markel's case on the 1-year anniversary, including more details of the Prius, and says the vehicle may not have belonged to the driver. Anonymous donor offers a separate $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction. So from there, that is July 17th of 2015, all the way again to February 25th of 2016, the Tallahassee Police Department releases new documents in the Markel case. New details include that keys were still in the ignition and the house was locked. Y'all, it infers that he had just drove into his garage. He hadn't even got out of the car yet when he was assassinated, basically. April 20th of 2016, the FBI records conversations between Charlie Adelson and Catherine McManawan at Dulce Vita restaurant, which became a pivotal piece of direct evidence in all of these dang killers' trials. They had already homed in on Charlie because they figured out, obviously, that there was this link between the men that rented the Prius and Catherine McBanawal. Now, May 24th of 2016, investigators interview Luis Garcia according to court documents. Garcia denies ever being in Tallahassee, says he has made no trips with Rivera and knows nothing about the homicide. May 25th, the day after that, 34-year-old Garcia arrested in Hollandale Beach, Florida on charges of first-degree murder relating to the Daniel Markel case and possession of cocaine. Now, let's just stop there for a minute. Now, knowing what we know, and I just think we do, at least to this point, it's clear as crystal to me when looking back on the trials of these two hitmen, Catherine McBanawal, and now we have Charlie Adelson, a family member of the Adelsons there. Think about what they must have been thinking. On May the 25th of 2016, the Adelsons must have been puckering in their asses knowing that these guys that they got Catherine McBanawal to hire to take out Dan Markel was arrested and things were starting to be discovered. Think about that. May 26th, the day after that, Tallahassee Police Department holds a press conference officially naming Garcia as a suspect, says that documents in the case have been ordered by a judge to be sealed. June 1st of 2016, Garcia is extradited from South Florida and booked into Leon County Jail. The day after that, on June 2nd, Garcia appears in Leon County Court for his first appearance. He doesn't enter a plea. On the same day, June 2nd of 2016, documents in murder case are unsealed, and the document names Luis Rivera as a second suspect, establishes a connection between the Adelson family and Garcia, provides more details and timeline of murder accusation according to the Tallahassee Police Department. On June the 17th of 2016, a Leon County grand jury indicts both Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera for the murder of Dan Markel. Now, let's just back up, though. I should have said this. When they released those documents showing a connection between the Adelson family, again, y'all, you can imagine Donna, Harvey, Charlie, Wendy. I bet they are absolutely shitting themselves at this point. June 24th of 2016, Sigfredo Garcia pleads not guilty in a court appearance. Defense attorney James Lewis says that the state has informed him it plans to seek the death penalty. 4 days after that, on June 28th of 2016, Luis Rivera is extradited to Leon County Jail from Coleman Federal Correctional Complex in Central Florida, where he was incarcerated on unrelated charges. Move up from there, July 18th of 2016, Sigfredo Garcia's trial is set for November 14th of 2016. So August 4th of 2016, Leon County Grand Jury plans to reconvene to review evidence of the Dan Markel murder case. And 4 days after that, on August 8th of 2016, the CDA reaches settlement with Markel family in the lawsuit over slow response time. In other words, Dan Markel's family sued the shit out of them for them not being able to get over there to their family member, Dan Markel. That could have even saved his life. No one will ever know. August 29th of 2016, the state releases an interview video of Markel's ex-wife, Wendy Adelson. In the video, Adelson tells police of her brother's joke about hiring a hitman. And I'm sure many of y'all have watched that. It's on YouTube. I challenge you to go and listen to her whole interrogation. Just type in Wendy Adelson's interrogation. It's very revealing, y'all. And we'll get to it at some point. So, on September 8th of 2016, Luis Rivera demands a speedy trial, which is set by a judge for October 24th, 3 weeks prior to the co-defendant Sigfredo Garcia's trial. September 17th of 2016, Dan Markel's murder, the suspects and the Adelson family, all subjects of an episode of ABC's 2020. So here we have, just like we saw before, and the Hussey and the Chin's trial there, all these datelines and oxygens and all this stuff. Here we have it, y'all, by September 17th, ABC's 2020. I posted that vid on the community wall, so you might want to watch it. I was watching all kinds of different stuff. It's been 10 years, y'all. This was probably the best one made. It wasn't so sensational. It had more information in it. September 28th and 29th of 2016, Luis Rivera's lawyer, Chuck Collins, requests trial to be moved from Tallahassee. The judge denies the request for change of venue less than 1 day later. October 1st of 2016, Catherine McBanawal is arrested in Broward County, facing charges of first-degree murder. 3 days after that, on October 4th of 2016, Luis Rivera pleads guilty, y'all, to second-degree murder and is sentenced to 19 years in prison. So, 6 days after Luis Rivera pleads guilty to second-degree murder, Catherine McBanawal on October 10th is booked into the Leon County Jail for first-degree murder charges. 1 day after that, on October 11th of... No, that's not 1 day after that, because it goes from October 10th of 2016, Catherine McBanawal is booked into the jail there on first-degree murder, and then it goes all the way to October 11th of 2019. Now, let's stop. That's 3 years, y'all. 3 years go by. And Sigfredo Garcia is convicted of first-degree murder. Judge declares a mistrial for Catherine McBanawal after the jury deadlocks. I mean, these jury members are idiots. She was the go-between. But we'll get to that here in a minute, because ultimately it all turns out okay. But it wasn't okay for Dan Markel's family. You know, to have a mistrial like that and go through that, the prospect of having to go through that all over again. So, the retrial is scheduled for April 13th of 2020. So, on October, let's see. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Okay, here we go. March of 2020, McBanawal's retrial is delayed for the first time due to COVID-19 pandemic. August of 2020, McBanawal requests to be released from jail to await trial. Retrial was delayed indefinitely due to COVID-19. Y'all remember all that? In 2019 and 2020, the hysteria of COVID-19. October and December 2020, Judge and Appeals Court denies Catherine McBanawal's request for release to await trial from home. So, we go into 2021. May 6th of 2021, Catherine McBanawal's retrial is scheduled for October 4th of 2021. By September 20th of 2021, McBanawal's retrial postponed again until February 14th of 2022, this time due to the Delta variant spread in Leon County. So, February 1st of 2022, McBanawal's retrial is postponed so audio forensic expert can enhance audio of the FBI recording of the conversation between McBanawal and Charlie Adelson in a Miami restaurant back in 2016. April 21st of 2022, Charlie Adelson is arrested and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation of murder. Now, think about that, y'all. Charlie Adelson is arrested on April 21st of 2022. But guess, in May, the next month, is the start of Catherine McBanawal's trial. Could you imagine what Donna and Harvey and Wendy and, I mean, look at Charlie. He's been arrested. He knows the one that's going to basically blow him out of the water. I mean, a lot is invested on whether or not Catherine McBanawal gets convicted or not. She's already had a mistrial. And maybe Charlie and Donna and them thought, well, she had a mistrial. So, this isn't going to lead back to us, because she was the one that was the direct link between all of this. So May 16th is the start of McBanawal's trial, and by May 27th, McBanawal is found guilty of murder, conspiracy, and solicitation after about 8 hours of deliberation by the jury. It's interesting, y'all. They deliberated for 8 hours on Catherine McBanawal's case there. They didn't even deliberate no more than 3 hours on Charlie Adelson's. It's very, very interesting. So by February 28th of 2023, the judge delays Charlie Adelson's trial. And then in March of 2023, March 16th, the judge delays Charlie Adelson's trial again. And then that's March 16th of 2023, April, May, June, July, August, September 29th of 2023, McBanawal turns state's witness and is expected to testify against her ex-boyfriend. And in October, the 12th there of 2023, judge orders Charlie Adelson's parents to appear for questioning because they weren't going to be helpful, don't you know? He does. And it's very interesting, and I don't know if we'll ever find out, but by October 20th of 2023, attorneys agree to drop Charlie Adelson's parents from the witness list of Charlie Adelson's trial less than a week ahead of the start of his trial. So obviously, the only thing I can infer on that is the judge ordered Donna and Harvey to go answer questions, a deposition. They probably just said, we ain't saying anything. And they couldn't hold them in contempt or anything. October 23 of 2023 is the start of Charlie Adelson's trial. And by November 6 of 2023, Charlie Adelson is convicted on all counts. He'll spend life in prison. So November 6th, then you go 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th of November, Donna and Harvey are at the airport with a one-way ticket to Vietnam. All these incriminating jail phone calls that we'll talk about some of them. She's arrested, and her trial will be September 17th of 2024. So there you have kind of a generalized timeline of all of these convictions and things of that sort. And I was saying, well, I started talking about these emails, and we got through 3 emails from hell, right? And I was like, you know what? How can I encapsulate everything that I learned in those 3 emails? How can I summarize something so evil and diabolical as Donna Adelson trying to do her domestic coordinating shit on Wendy to get Wendy to lie to a judge, to baptize the kids with a fake baptism and all this other stuff. And then we found that out in email 1 and email 2. We find out Wendy, she does not want to go along with that. She wants what Donna says, well, you say you just want to get on with your life and have some sense of peace. That's giving up, says Donna. So you kind of get an idea that Donna went from this crazy idea. Wendy responded. Donna, in the second email, is still trying to provoke her, remind her of how Dan Markell is this just terrible guy and all of this stuff. And Donna, in her emails, on all of them, really, she has these little digs at Wendy. Like, you don't know what you're doing. It's okay that you'll be a single mom with 2 children. You still could have a better life. In other words, you've had a shitty life, Wendy. Listen to me. I'll make it better for you. But Wendy's not going to listen to such a preposterous idea of going into the Catholic religion and baptizing 2 little boys just so she would have leverage with visitation or jockeying for position or anything like that. And I thought, well, where do I go from here? So I got to looking, and I thought, wait a minute. I did 3 emails from hell. There's one left that I didn't see, y'all. It's a short one, but I wanted to get it in there because this one was, the ones I read you before were in 2013, okay? This one is dated February 18th of 2014, which is a few months before the Prius is rented. And, just a few months away from Dan Markel being assassinated and taken out so that Donna Adelson can get her way. Because, y'all, this is my theory. This is my hypothesis. Charlie Adelson would have never done this, seen it through, first of all, with just his own money. His parents had to go in on it. This whole idea that they were going to offer Dan Markel $333,000 apiece, equaling up to $1 million, basically a bribe, so that Wendy could relocate. No, Donna, she had gotten the news that Dan Markel was not going to go down without a fight. This whole idea that Wendy would refile the relocation that Donna wanted her to, and all of this stuff. It was falling by the wayside because every time Dan Markel filed something, in Donna's eyes, it was like shutting a door and nailing it shut. There was not going to be no way that Wendy was going to be able to get back to South Florida to be there around Donna and Harvey and Charlie. So in my theory is that Donna saw that Dan Markel was, in her view, personally attacking her. But y'all, she's the one. I don't believe them children made it up that Grandma said that you're stupid and she hates you. He had every right. And in Donna's eyes, to see that, well, he's trying to keep my grandchildren from me. And he's saying, I'm saying these things. And really what this means is the judge agrees that the children need to be supervised. Then how could I even expect that a judge would say, yes, you can move down to South Florida near the grandmother who another judge has said you need supervised visitation to. So in Donna's eyes, it was like, if he gets his way with this, there's no argument that Wendy's going to be able to give a judge if it's on the record that a judge says, hey, you shouldn't have been telling your grandchildren that you hated their father and that he was stupid. Now you're going to have supervised visitation. It's not going to look as healthy and appealing to a judge to do that. Let's keep in mind, no matter what state in this United States of America, I guarantee you, every one of these issues involving children, the welfare of the child is paramount over all and any considerations. Money, whatever. The judge is going to look at the whole thing and rule in the best. And this judge absolutely saw great value in those little boys having a relationship with their father. But back to this last little email, I think Donna got to a place where Dan was shutting that door. He was smart enough to know that if he kept filing these motions, it wasn't that he was filing them to be mean to Wendy or make Wendy miserable. He knew that she was going to continue to push this issue, and he also knew that the Adelson family had millions and millions of dollars that they could throw to some attorney, $600 an hour anytime. I mean, Donna had already said in one of her emails they had spoke to 2 attorneys talking about negotiators, great negotiators. So Dan Markel was trying to protect his rights. And he was not being dishonest about it. I don't think he would make that up. I'm just going to say that my children told me that their grandmother said I was stupid and that she hated me. He's not going to do that. He's going to be honest. He was an honest man. Everyone that knew him knew he was going to be honest. I'm sure he was hurt over the divorce. And I'm sure when it comes down to it, y'all, no matter who you are, when you're in a custody battle over your children's lives, your significant other has left your ass. Now you got to live to be a divorcee. You only get 50% of your time with your children. I'm sure he was very upset, but I don't think he was vindictive like Donna Adelson, who wants to take them little boys and dress them up as Nazis. She says it in her emails. She didn't care. But this February 18th of 2014 email that Donna sent to Wendy kind of lets me know that Donna, she's looking at anything that she can. She knows that argument of getting Wendy to play act, that she's Catholic or Christian or whatever, that Wendy's not going to go for that. She knows that the time is coming. The time is coming that, she's got to really think about the big picture for Wendy and herself, basically. The subject line on it says, info for your lawyer when it comes to deposing of Dan Markell. And most of y'all know what a deposition is. You subpoena them to come in and they depose them. She says to Wendy, Donna says to Wendy, honey, okay, your attorney must depose Elvis to see if any of the retirement accounts that Elvis has ever had a check written from them during the course of your marriage, if any of them were funded through any joint assets, your mutual Schwab account, or in any way passed through joint financial accounts, then you are entitled to a portion of those accounts. Even if nothing was ever done improperly on those accounts, and he has some very large retirement accounts, let's aggravate him the way he's been trying to aggravate you and make him do the research and show statements from every month, from the date of your marriage to the date of the filing of divorce. You need to see whatever he deposited into those accounts, where the money came from. It's very possible some of it came from your joint Schwab account, and then he's up shit creek. Why shouldn't he have to do this? It's what I mentioned to Kristen in court yesterday, and she nodded her head. Now she needs to do something about it. It just seems ridiculous for him to be able to depose you, but for you and Kristen not to give him the same crap he's pulling on you. It's time to give it to him. Also, what can your attorney do to be proactive to give him some grief? It seems like you're always on the defensive, but I don't see her doing anything offensive. I was really surprised that you didn't speak with her prior to the meeting her in court. Can't you meet with her and work out a plan of attack or some sort of strategizing so you know what you're up against and what else he can do? When is there an end to this nonsensical litigation and waste of the court's time and your financial obligation to your attorney? I think it's really important to get the parenting coordinator to either testify or be brought to deposition, perhaps by your attorney, so we can get her to request that Elvis be court-ordered for psychological testing. Don't y'all find it interesting? Number one, it's not Jibbers anymore, it's Elvis, which that is despicable for her to try to use that as a negative thing. Elvis was a beautiful musician, star. But here she is, she's asking Wendy, she says, when is it going to be the end of this nonsensical litigation? But at the same breath, she's saying, I think you need to get the parenting coordinator to either testify or be brought into deposition. Every time someone has to be deposed, it costs money, y'all. So on one hand, you're having all this litigation, and yet here I am giving you more ideas to keep this shit going. And this whole thing about getting Dan Markell psychological testing, it's just to make him miserable. She's homing in on the money, first off, in this email, because Dan Markell's already filed motions saying that Wendy has taken assets or money that was not stated in the divorce. There was a grandmother's ring, some other assets that he had before he married her. And now they want to depose Wendy. What would they want to depose Dan Markel for? Why would Donna want Wendy to do the same to him? Because he ain't done nothing wrong. And Wendy's attorney, Kristen, there has no reason to depose him. So what does Donna do? She turns that wicked wheel around in her head and says, well, can't you strategize? Can't you be on the offense? Can't you put him through psychological testing? And if he's just a little off, perhaps he should not be permitted to take the children out of the country. And I'm not sure at this time, but I know his family was from Canada. But at the same time, I do know his mom and dad, Dan Markel's mom and dad, was in Israel, maybe visiting Israel. I don't know if taking them out of the country meant going to Canada or Israel. But either way it goes, Donna wants to cause Dan Markel as much misery as she possibly can. What happened with the dean? Any help, or do you need to proceed to the provost? Something has to be done with this asshole. The only thing I can think on that, when Donna's asking Wendy to talk to the dean of students, this dean's not going to get involved, and so Donna was hoping that Wendy could talk to the dean and the dean could do something to Dan, because Dan was a professor there at FSU. Call us if you feel up to it tonight. If you're too tired, then call us in the morning after you leave the boys at school if you can. Love you, Mom and Dad. And that is the last email that I see. I missed it before, but I really scoured and looked. It's the last one that was released anyway, from Donna and Wendy. That was February 18th of 2014. If I looked on the timeline, if that is February 18th of 2014, it doesn't really show a lot of activity around that time of anything that's been put on the timeline. Obviously, we know this was a couple of months before the Prius was rented by the hitmen. The whole action was starting to materialize. Donna gave the okay. I believe that. I do. And I think the state of Florida there in Tallahassee is going to I think they'll probably bring in this, where Donna and Harvey were ordered to meet with the state prosecutors. Somehow there could be a possibility that some things were said that the state could use. Who knows, right? And those jail phone calls, who's to say all the jail phone calls between Donna and Charlie are released? What if there are other phone calls, y'all, that are really damning? Or any other wiretaps or anything that we haven't seen that was in the hitmen's trials, Catherine McBanawal, the go-between, her trial, and Charlie Adelson's trial. So I have brought up this thing about the jail phone calls, and I highly recommend, if you want to get an idea, a sense, if you're one of those types, in terms of hearing a voice of somebody, Charlie and Donna Adelson are talking on the jail phone calls after he's been convicted. And I just want to kind of give y'all an example of what I'll do from time to time. I'll just take word for word from what they're saying on their jail phone call. I won't do the whole thing. It'll just be certain little sections that I think point to Donna being guilty. Okay? And let me give you this example. The day that Charlie Adelson was found guilty by a jury there in Tallahassee, and he went back to the jail that same day on November the 6th when he was convicted, and he's going to have to eventually go to prison for the rest of his life. At 6:40 p.m., he's got a phone call. You can look it up online, y'all. I've listened to several hours of these calls. It's very interesting, very, very insightful. There's a little section that I thought kind of pointed to Donna, really, and Harvey for that matter, because Harvey is right there with Donna. They got Charlie on speaker, but this is the very first call, and it goes on for a while. And in fact, he calls them back later on that evening, but the very first time, I'm not going to the very first section of what was first said. I'm only going to go to the section where I think Donna and Charlie are coming to the terms, without saying it, that this was a stupid ass idea. It wasn't worth it. Look where it got us. Donna says, we're going to have to talk when we have a moment about things that we need to take care of, okay? She is weeping, y'all. She is emotionally weeping. And Charlie says, yeah, I know about money and stuff like that. I got you. And right when he says, I got you, Donna says, Roman. And then Charlie says, what? Donna says, Roman, I have things I need to take care of for Roman. And take care of things for him and help him. Now, that Roman is Charlie Adelson's little boy. I think he's 1 or 2 years old. So there's that, which is the most important. And then, she says, it's the most important. And then Charlie, you could hear him in that cell. You could hear actually the echo. He starts laughing hysterically. Like cynically laughing. And Donna says, and figuring out about the dog. And y'all, in the calls, Charlie loved his dog. He says he loved his child. Charlie's laughing. And he says, oh, God. And then Donna says, we got to take care of things, Charlie. We got to take care of things. And Charlie says, it's like I'm dead. I hate to tell you this, but it ain't a whole lot different. Oh, fuck. And Donna says, please, I know. And then Charlie says, oh, fuck, I listened to everybody. You got no idea. You got no fucking idea. He's telling this to his mother. He's telling her she brought up the two things. He's sitting in a jail cell. He knows he's never going to see him again. Like touch his son or play with his dog or anything. He knows he's going to prison for the rest of his life. He's freaking out because Donna brought up his son. Then she says it's the most important. And Charlie's laughing hysterically. And he says, and I feel the anger underneath his voice. He says, I listened to everybody. And what he was really saying is, I can't believe I listened to you, Mom. I can't believe I listened to you. And then Donna says, I know. And then Charlie says, that's all I have to say. And he said it like he was so pissed at her. Like, why the hell? And in other phone calls, y'all, he does on more than one occasion. He says, I should have listened to my gut. I should have listened to my gut. And then Harvey speaks up and he says, Charlie, I know, I love you. And it's almost like Donna and Harvey is trying to calm Charlie down. Harvey and Donna is trying to calm Charlie down. God, that's hard to say. Because it's like they know he's pissed off. And number one, I think they're thinking at that moment, they're like, I hope he don't say anything on this recorded call. He's that pissed off. And so they're trying to say, we know, Charlie, we love you, we love you. That is just a small slice of these jail phone calls that I really see that, y'all. I see that. So we're going to get more into it, but I want to tell y'all what we're going to do starting on Monday. Okay, Friday, I might have to surprise y'all a little bit. Who knows? We might go on a detour or we might continue down this road. But Monday, I've got a schedule set up, y'all. Y'all remember when we went through the case of the Chin and the Hussey, I read the Leah Sottle book. Well, I want to home in on Ruth Markel, which was Dan Markel's mother. Ruth Markel is the mother of the late Dan Markel, a noted law professor who was murdered in Tallahassee, Florida in 2014. And what we're going to do is we're going to read. I'm going to read it to you. You don't got to buy it. It's a book she wrote. It's called In the Unveiling. Now, isn't that interesting, y'all? This case has nothing to do with any of that seeing beyond the veil shit that we had to deal with that other case. But here it is, y'all. The Unveiling by Ruth Markel, where she describes her experiences since the day of Dan's death from several distinct perspectives. These perspectives include As a devastated mother with the unique human perspective of becoming a homicide survivor and victim, a perspective of a woman who attempts to achieve normalcy and live a healthy life and continually interrupted by painful reminders, a roller coaster of hearings, frequently changing trial dates, verdicts, and appeals. Another perspective in this book is as an engaged citizen using what she has learned to help other victims of homicide and violent crimes recover from trauma and begin an optimistic outlook on life. Another perspective that Ruth Markel is going to be in this book is called The Unveiling, is as an insider who shows how our collective network of family, friends, and experts, including a murder coach — I've never heard of a murder coach, y'all, that's going to be interesting — have helped her family remain involved, motivated, and hopeful. Also, as a grandmother who had not been allowed to see her grandchildren in many years, she used advocacy to inspire the Florida State Legislature to pass a grandparent visitation bill. And finally, y'all, this book, The Unveiling by Ruth Markel, is an experienced author of 9 books using the written word to effectively address the shift from grief to promise. So we're going to start reading it. Okay, just going to read it, my old southern twang voice. Leave y'all's comments. I wanted to kind of go back and get that timeline down. I apologize that I kind of went off the seat of my pants on this. I'm going to try to get more disciplined about all this. Hopefully we'll learn some things. Justice through understanding means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Yet KJ knows, no matter what you get out of this channel, you are the only you're ever going to be. And I thank you so much for being here. And I thank all of you that have been leaving the comments and filling me in, helping educate me. I appreciate it all. I'll see y'all Friday. I love you all. Keep on looking.